Traders, it's Kyle from K Capital. It's about 7:35, May 26th. Hopefully everyone had a fantastic weekend, great holiday. Tonight's video is really going to focus on our open alerts right now. The market as a whole pulled back pretty heavily today in the Dow. As such, we're really not looking to get too overextended in this market. Obviously, if there's opportunities that present themselves, we'll clearly jump on those, but for the time being, we're going to go over our open alerts, and then tonight I'm going to start digging into some more opportunities to the long side. I have a few ideas, but again, I'll get to that into our members dashboard later on. So for the time being, DRRX, we've now alerted 3 separate alerts in this, the third being today at 249, 248 level. This is a pretty nice chart. We've been in this a few times. As I alerted to before, we closed for a 16% profit before the earnings call. It dipped down. We locked in half of the gain there, and we've added twice since then. And as you can see, it's trending pretty nicely with significant volume. Not today because the whole market, like I said, pulled back. But over the long haul, you can see this volume spikes over the last couple months have been pretty significant. Today we tested a high of 267, broke this prior level of resistance, which is a good sign, but then pulled back with the overall market. So not really too concerned in this right now. I think it's a nice chart. I think we do hit 3 in the short term, maybe a week to 3 weeks. So again, nice setup here. Hopefully you guys got into this with the alert. So again, not really more to say about this guy. It's just a nice trending chart right now that we've been in 3 times. Next is AT, which is another that we've been in 3 times. For this, I want to go back, a few months to where this gap down. We've entered here, I think, at 324, 296, and 306. So we're sitting on a decent gain, I think 6 to 8%. Right now, this volume spike last Friday was pretty significant, and I think we're just going to trade sideways, which is the midpoint of this breakout candle. It's one thing I look for in my scans is a breakout, but not necessarily to buy on the breakout, but to buy on the pullback. So I think this is a nice chart, and actually after hours today, an insider transaction occurred during the market open today. A director bought 30,000 shares, which obviously is a great sign. The CEO bought, I think, a few thousand shares a week or 2 ago. And fundamentally, this has a few things going on in terms of some activist investors, specifically to hedge funds, that are pretty gung-ho about this company and trying to turn it around. So I think this is, again, a nice chart technically, and it has some good fundamental stories behind it. So I think this is a positive story for us. So we're going to hold this for the time being and hopefully hit our target of 4. Next is MRGE. And actually on the dashboard, I had the incorrect prices for MRGE. They were the first trades that we already closed. So we obviously re-entered that in the $450 to $460 range. And right now, it's pretty much sitting at a support level that I kind of alluded to several times over the last couple weeks. And really what I mean by that, again, is if you look at the breakout candle from back here, beginning of April, there's still a lot of built-up demand right here that's more or less causing this price level to hold, which is a great sign. We haven't broken that level of support. I think we're going to continue to trend upwards eventually. It just might take time to break this level of resistance right here, which is right around 478 to 479. I think once we break that, we head back up to 5 pretty quickly, which should be a nice return for us if we head all the way back up to 5, if not 6 to 620, which would be the prior level of resistance all the way back to this R1 level. So another good setup here. Apologies for the incorrect prices on our dashboard. One of our members actually pointed that out today, so I very much appreciate that. But moving on to our MBS. This is one I'm actually losing a little bit of patience with. I expected this to break 451 by now. It did exactly what I said it would, where it went to the middle of the breakout candle here, bounced off of that level and continued higher. But for the time being, it keeps bouncing against this level of resistance, which basically tells us there's a big seller here, or sellers. So, granted, the chart is definitely bullish, but, eventually we're going to have to either just move on and find other opportunities and really cut our losses here. But this wouldn't be a loss. We'd be more or less I think a little bit up, probably in the 2 to 3% range. I think I don't have the numbers in front of me, but so patience with this one. I'll see how this plays out, but it's forming this nice ascending triangle pattern. And now it's just a matter of either it breaks this level or it continues to kind of coil until eventually pops. So more to come on this, just a matter of being patient with our swing alert here. Next is CRIS or Chris. So Chris is another one that is forming this long-term resistance or long-term ascending triangle, which is more or less, when I say it's long-term, it kind of already broke through this pattern, which is kind of what made me enter a long position around the 305 range. It's kind of a reverse ascending triangle pattern because it already broke through. Now it's a matter of holding this blue line level of support, and it's doing that. So I think that's a positive sign. Unfortunately, we haven't had the volume to really substantiate the breakout or to hold the breakout, but we're still holding this level of support. So another one that I think it's a little bit different setup in terms of the technicals, but it's something that I think we're going to definitely hold on to. There's no reason to sell right now. We're pretty much, seeing a 7-cent gain. So I think this is definitely something that could potentially hit 350 to 375. And then next we have TNK, which is an alert from last week. Let's see what this guy's doing. So this one actually had a pretty bearish candle today. It did not hold the level of support I really wanted. It kind of closed right below that trend line. So this is one I'm going to watch definitely close tomorrow. Right now I think we're up 3 cents, which is unfortunate because we went into the day up 6% on this. But I'm going to watch this closely. Let's see what happens tomorrow as this kind of holds this level of support, or it breaks down and kind of retraces back to our purchase price where we would close, probably break even. I love this setup, but unfortunately with the tanker stocks, they really trade kind of an anti-correlation with crude. Obviously, the lower crude is, tankers have cheaper cost or cost of capital. So really, that's just something that I think is kind of going to fluctuate with the price of crude. And that kind of segues right into our next one, which is our long-term alert, SD. Obviously, this is a significant loss for us. From the very beginning of this trade, I alluded right to the fact that this was a long-term play, 6 to 12 months at a minimum, and really a call option on crude. We're holding, if you want to break down the technicals, the all-time low here, which is obviously a very good sign. But, I think there's a lot going on here. It's obviously correlated to the price of crude, but fundamentally there's a bunch of stuff here that, Sandridge really hasn't capitalized on in terms of the assets they do have in Oklahoma. Add on top of that their cash flow issues, and add on top of that their fracking issues, and running into some political issues in the state of Oklahoma. And really that brings you to a stock price of 119. We got in the high ones, so obviously this is a loss for us. Again, we're not going to hide any losses from you guys here. But that said, it's a long-term play, so that's why we haven't really exited the position. It's something that I think in the long term is still beneficial. I think we can easily get back up to the $2 to $250 range. It's really just contingent on the price of crude. So let's see how this plays out. I'm glad we didn't sell when it bottomed right around 1. And so I'm hoping this is kind of the bottom and it slowly starts to tick back up to 2. Again, just to explain that one more time, we did have a mental stop loss of right around, I think, 175. We did not execute on that because of the fact that this was a long-term play. We put out the stop loss orders to you guys just so everyone's aware of the prices that if you're in this to trade, that's what you would want to exit at, in or around that price. We didn't do that because this is a long-term trade for us. So again, a lot going on here. If you have any questions on this fundamental play, please obviously shoot me an email and I can go through the fundamentals if you'd like. But I think, overall, I think this is something that's going to just take time and to be patient with. It's a long-term hold. So really that's it. I think we have a lot of good opportunities here. Our charts are very bullish even in this down day. So it's just a matter of being patient and look for it tonight. I'll have an updated watch list of potential stocks to trade. And again, just to recap the day, we went long again in DRRX. Again, if you have any questions, guys, just shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer anything I can, and we'll talk soon.